New Year to those of us in the Gregorian calendar year. Yes, today is the 3rd, and we are looking at the new moon or the full moon in Cancer that took place at 5 a.m. this morning. So y'all come on in the house, grab your tea, your coffee, your spirit water. Welcome to EarthtoneS. If you're new here, I am your hostess, Kakala Moon. Please consider subscribing to the channel, give us a thumbs up, and share the video. Help us grow the channel. I'd like to give thanks to my day ones and twos. They're very important, and I give thanks to their support, especially in the little time that we developed the channel. But we're in the winter chrysalis of 25-26 in my series, Ancient Kemet and Other African Contributions to Astrology. And we're on part 6 of this 7-part series of the first half. That's right, that's the first half. The second half, we're going to be looking at the people that we've been talking about. But today, we're going to talk about the months and their origins and what I meant, what I said about the chrysalis of the Gregorian calendar. We're going to look at the origins of the months, the names of the month. And we're going to compare them to the ancient Kemetic names and look at the differences in the calendars and how they came about. We're also going to look at the best and challenging months of 2026, as well as when Mercury goes retrograde towards the end of the year. We're going to have Leo, Venus, and Mars go retrograde in Leo and Virgo, I believe. But we're going to run through the month as well and take a look at it in the sky. Lastly, we're going to pull an oracle card and see what the oracles have to say for us, what type of message they might have for us. But Rome's calendar of 738 BCE was originally inspired by ancient Kemet, or ancient Egypt, as the Greeks named the region. They used a solar calendar, but it also, or they also recognized a lunar calendar, and thus the two-faced Janus, which represents January, was to recognize this transition from the 10-month calendar that they had to the 12-month calendar. It was inspired by the 12-month calendar that the ancient Kemetans used, where they had a 10-day week and 3 weeks within a month, equating to a 360-day year, where they honored the Neteru, the last 5 days of the year, and those Neteru being Heru, which would be the highest point of the sun in the sky, Wasir, as the Greeks name Osiris, Set, whom we know as Isis, Setek, whom we know as Set, and Nephthys, or Nephet, who we know as Nephthys. And so Janus was named as the two-faced god to assist or to represent this transition. And then they named the month of February for the Februha festival that they had. And this particular festival was intended to create a purification period. And I wanted to look at something about it, but they wanted to create this purification period before the agricultural period that stemmed from the ancient Kemetan era, where they recognized that period for the flooding of the Nile. So it was all associated with agriculture. And that is ironic because when we look at the important aspect of the conjunction between Saturn and Neptune that's taking place in February that has so many astrologers so excited, it is because this Neptune outer planet and Saturn, the planet of time and the last of the visible planets. So these two planets that sit side by side, basically in the orbital passage around the sun, last met at 0 degrees Aries, 7,000 BC. So we're talking 9,000 years ago. Now they met before, or the last time that they came together in a different sign was mm, 36 years ago. So they meet around every 36 years in different signs. But this one is different. On the world axis, 0 degrees is very important. So the first month was originally March. And so to line things up with the agricultural solar calendar, January and February were added. And it's obvious to us because the first through that would be March, marching into spring, Abril, which means to open, and Aberio is also to open. And so this is the opening or the blossoming of spring. And then, of course, May was to honor Maya, Maya being the goddess mother. Then there was Juno, the goddess of protection, or the god of protection. His cohort was Hera in the Greek pantheon. And so Juno is a one of the more popular asteroids that we usually look at in the birth chart, responsible for commitment, marriage, protection of women. And so Juno is been around for a while, very important, large asteroid in the Kuiper Belt. And so then there is Julio, which was formerly, let's see, the name of it was Quintilis. Quintilis. And so Quintilis, of course, Quin being 5, and I got distracted with the festival if I didn't mention it, that February festival was also related to Februarius. Februarius. That was, or Februalia, which is Latin for Februa, which means to cleanse. And so I wanted to point that out because that's where we are in the series, Ancient Kemet and Other African Contributions to Astrology, that I highly recommend you check out. We're at the 4th part of the 7-part series, if I didn't mention that. But then we have July, as I mentioned, Quintilis, meaning 5th in Latin. And when at the death of Julius Caesar in 44 BC, the month was renamed to honor him. And it was in 1882 that the Gregorian calendar was established. But from that point, August was the pivotal month that joined the Roman thus or slash Egyptian calendar, solar calendar, with the Gregorian calendar, which adjusted to make for the lag in the precession of the equinox, which gave us or which gives us leap year. So now we have a total of 365 and a quarter days currently. All right. So in ancient Kemet, the names of the months were started out with thought. And I found that to be quite interesting. And so thought was the first month. Then the second month was Hopi. Hopi, such as the Hopi in the name as in the name of the Nile. Then the third month is Hathor. Fourth month, Koyak. Toby was the fifth month, the god of rain. Koyak was the god of good. And of course, we know Hathor is the goddess of beauty, and Thought being the god of wisdom and knowledge. But Mashir is the sixth month, the god of winds and storms. Seventh month, Paramat, the god of heat, war, and high temperature. Paramuti, the god of death. Pashans, the god of darkness. Peony, the god of metal. Epip, the month of happiness, when Horus avenged his father's death against his uncle Set. And then, of course, the last month being Missouri, the birth of the sun god Ra. And we just experienced that being December. And of course, Sept being 7, Oct being 8, Novum being 9, Deci being 10 is how those months followed August. And they also are used in the acronym JASON, such as Jason and the Argonauts, July, August, September, October, and November, JASON. Okay, so that's a little cool tidbit about the origins of the months. And so let's go into what's happening for the month of January. January is going to start out with this full moon, of course, and then we're going to have a triple conjunction between the Sun, Venus, and Mars between the 5th and the 9th of the month. And then the Sun, Mercury, and Venus and Mars is going to parade past Pluto. So each one of them are going to make a configuration to Pluto. And at the same time, Venus and Mars are going to be behind the sun. So we're going to be having these themes of what's happening behind the veil, if you will. Mercury, there's going to be a Mercury and Mars conjunction around the 18th. And this day is going to bring a lot of harsh words, misunderstandings, but it also could be a good day to motivate one to put together a good presentation. It also could inspire an eloquent, creative a writing project. Good day for writing. Then you have on the Venus goes into Aquarius on the 17th. Neptune goes into Aries on the 26th of January, and Mars sextiles Pluto on the 27th. And lastly, at the end of the month is going to be a Mercury Venus conjunction around the 29th. And we'll look at that in just a second. But let's see where we are in our notes here as I share my screen. Okay, so here we are with this configuration that is very interesting in that the outer planets are shifting. However, they're still communicating with one another uh, at 27 degrees Taurus, which is my ascendant, for Uranus, 29 degrees Pisces for Neptune, and 2 degrees Aquarius for Pluto. So we still have that mini trine between the three outer planets, but we also have the full moon, which is always going to be in opposition between the sun and the moon. We have the sun slicing between that Mars and Venus obscurity that I mentioned, which is a conjunction 12, 13, 14 degrees, and we have Mercury pulling up the rear. Now, all of these planets create what we call a stellium in Capricorn, a cardinal sign. The cardinal signs create that grand cross, and those signs are Capricorn, Aries, that world axis, Cancer, which is opposite Capricorn, and the balance of Libra. And so we have this opposition of the sun and the moon, Venus and the moon. We also have Sirius there, the star Sopdet. We also have this configuration between Saturn and Jupiter with a 5-degree orb, meaning a 5-degree difference between them. And what you see in addition to that is where I've went in and added these points in the sky. Some may even be small asteroids that are associated with the archetypes that we've been using in our series. And I find it interesting that they are in a very strategic place in relationship to the 7 visible planets and 3 outer planets. And so, just to give you an idea, in Sag, the place where we're going through this purification in what I'm calling or simulating as the underworld, we have Neptet at 19 degrees in Sag, and we have Ptah in Scorpio at 22 degrees, opposite Neith, whom we met in like the 5th installment. Neith was in with Serket, the goddess or the netter with the scorpion on her head, and Neith is the netter of protection, war. She's a warrior. She's a protector, and she has the double arrow or the double arrow on her head, the double bow. That's what it's called. And next to her, where they share a sign-based conjunction with Osiris or Wazir. So we have these underworld archetypes sharing a sign here with Uranus. And Uranus in the underworld and our assimilation is related to Ptah because Ptah is the mental. Ptah is the mind. And guess what? Ptah is in the opposite sign on the same axis as Taurus. He's at 22 degrees Scorpio. And then we have Hathor, this divine feminine energy, in Virgo at 7 degrees. And just for the heck of it, I added what I found to be the point for America. And America is at 2 degrees Virgo. And I found that to be interesting, uh, being that opposite that 2 degrees Virgo in Pisces. Let's see. Now we have Sa Sa'a, who I believe to be the resurrected Wasir or Osiris, as some may say, although Osiris is over here. This would be a different energy. And many of them, the older ones like Sekhmet, which is opposite this energy, was actually on that list just as she is, because Sekhmet is a very ancient energy or netter as part of the netter, and she is beside Serket. Serket being the netter with the scorpion on her head, and they are sharing a sign here in Aquarius. At 4 degrees, we have Apophis or Apep, and we just spoke about Apep or Apophis, which is also Draco, the Hydra, here conjunct Pluto. Now, how you like them beans? And I thought that was crazy. Apophis is 2 degrees from Pluto in the actual chart. Okay, so let's look at this in the sky. And so we have stellarium over here, and here we have the sun conjunct Venus, and Mars is hidden in the background, so you can barely see it. And of course, in the actual sky, we see the sun very close to the constellation of Sagittarius. So that's where we saw who we saw there, uh, Neptus or Neptet. So we see these underground or underworld or shadow representations in these strategic places where we are simulating an initiation and transformation and going through the purification and alchemical process. And so we have Saturn up here, and Aquarius is here, and right behind it, we are still kind of wrestling with Ophiuchus here, the serpent in the sky. But we also have over here, we mentioned in the last installation, Arcturus. So here's Arcturus. That reference is in the book of Job in the King James Version of the Bible, that reference to Arcturus. And many people, what it reads is about the Mazaroth, which is the 12 tribes of Judah. And we tend to read past a lot of these words if we are not really familiar with them. But we also mentioned Ursa Major and Ursa Minor. Here's the serpent in the sky here listed as Draco. Okay, and then we have Ursa Minor, Ursa Major, and we recognize them commonly as the Big and Little Dipper. So everything is related. As I come out of that, I'd like us to pull an oracle card so we can see if the ancients, ancestors will give us a lesson or some type of message in January. I forgot we need We need to raise this up so we can see it. See what pops out, when it pops out. Okay. There we go. Woo. Pop right out. All right, who we have here? We have Mama Jumbo. Mama Jumbo says, shine, 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 shine. Okay, so let's look at the key for number 32. And look at Mama Jumbo and what she has beside her. And if this is not a representation for where we're headed to the 0 degree world axis of Aries. Mama Jumbo has the lamb by her side as she rocks her ram horns, and so very befitting for where we are in time, all synchronistic. And so let's look at the key here and see what Mama Jumbo has to say for us. Oh, yeah, I turned straight to the page. Okay. So Mama Jumbo is from the Bissau, from the Temple of the Griots. Okay. She represents the bush element, and that's earth. Goddess Mama Jumbo glitters as guardian of the lush green forest of Guinea-Bissau. And please forgive me if I'm mispronouncing that name. If her name sounds familiar, it is because Mama Jumbo's name was misconstrued by colonizers and replaced with the term mumbo jumbo, meaning gibberish. Still, she shines. You were born to shine, be seen, be heard, be a movement. We know, or we need to know your name. We want to learn your dance. Daring to rise and shine starts with the courage to be seen and heard. Your story matters, and someone needs to hear it. Fear of shining brightly keeps you in the shadows, hiding and shrinking. There is no way to claim your voice and avoid rejection, criticism, and judgment. But you are not for everybody. How timely is that? If everyone likes you, you are not really being you. So Mama Jumbo says, I am ready to be seen and heard. So I've learned that there is an audience for everybody, and you are not for everybody. And as for me, take what you can use, give the rest back, and keep it pushing. I don't recommend no one get stuck under the wing or tutelage of anyone in particular. Spread your wings. My education is patchwork, formal, informal, but some of it was even meditation um inspired, you know. I saw things in meditation that sent me down this rabbit hole and on this journey and to some amazing finds. And so I recommend you do the same. Get quiet. It's winter, hibernation season. The real um, new year is March 21st as we open Abril to spring. All right, y'all. It's been a blast. I'm out. By all means, y'all take it light. All right. Peace. See you in the next one.